Welcome back, everyone, to our fourth annual Black Golf Directory Career Fair. This is your founder, Jamie Taylor. And if you've been with me over the last week or so, you know we've had some great companies from the golf industry talking about what they do and how to get into the company if you're interested in the golf industry. And so I'm grateful for you all to be on this journey with me. If you have been with me, then you know this message that I always share. But the reason for doing this is because I, being a golfer of over 32 years, did not know about any of the opportunities in the golf industry on the business side until probably 20 plus years in. And so I want to ensure that you, the audience, gets this information from the people working at these golf companies, because it's so important not only for you to know, but for you to share it with others, so that hopefully we can educate our community and make sure that we have no misconceptions about what we can do in the golf world. So thank you for joining me. I'm excited to have this company because I will tell you, I know of them my whole life. If you own golf clubs, at least one set in your life, there's a 99.9% chance that you have used their product, Golf Pride, the grip company. And if you don't realize it, probably check your grips when you get home or when you're at your clubs, because there's a good chance you have their grips. And so, again, golf my entire life, didn't even think about the fact that a piece of my equipment, there's a whole company that creates that, right? And that's why I wanted to have them with us today, because there's opportunities with them and the engineering and the designing behind making those grips, and also just all the other jobs that they have. I'm going to let you learn about that today. So I'm going to bring on my guest, have them introduce themselves to you. And if you have any questions throughout, please feel free to put them in the chat. And also feel free to sign up if you haven't already for this career fair. I have it. I'll put it in the chat for you all to sign up. And that way you can get the recording of this if you miss any of it, as well as the employment reminder emails that I send out. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our first of two guests, Miss Rebecca. I'll bring you on. All right, you're on mute. There you go.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rebecca Williams. I'm currently the Global Employee Experience Manager for Golf Pride, located in Pinehurst, North Carolina. A bit about my background. So I am a degree engineer. I have my bachelor's in electromechanical engineering, and I have worked with Eaton, which is Golf Pride's parent company, for the last 9 years. Throughout my time, I've went from quality to sales and marketing, and now I'm in HR. And as the Global Employee Experience Manager, I own the employee life cycle. So from attracting potential employees, like events like this, to onboarding them all the way until they decide that they want to go on to their next adventure. I was not a golfer when I joined Golf Pride, but I always knew as a business professional, especially coming from sales, that golf was a really big aspect of that business culture. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. I love hearing your story. And you and I've talked online already, but to know that you have an engineer background and now you're on the HR side of things is just, again, another reason why I have this event, because I think people think so linearly about, I went to school for this, so I can't do that. And clearly you're a testament to that's not true. And so I'm going to bring in our other guests before I get too deep in the weeds, and we'll go from there. So welcome, Andrew.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Ochoa. I work as the Global OEM Sales Operations Leader. So in a nutshell, what that means is I do the demand planning for all the grips that we're going to sell to the OEMs. And that means companies like TaylorMade, Titleist, Ping, Callaway, Mizuno, PXG, pretty much all of the OEMs. And so, the fun thing about golf is it really is global. Golf is all across the world. So we see orders come in all the way from Japan to the US, Canada, Mexico. It's a really cool background that golf is. And my personal background, I'm from Wisconsin. I graduated with a degree in industrial engineering, and I've been working for Eaton for almost 5 years now. So I started in our pipeline program. It's called the Operations Management Leadership Development Program. It's a great way to get into a company out of college. I did that. It's a rotational program, and then sometime last year, a good opportunity opened with Golf Pride, this one, and so I've been here since. That's the nice thing about Eaton, our parent company. There are so many opportunities within the company, and you can really go so many different directions based on your own interest and with what you're passionate about. Like Becca said, she's transitioned over to human resources, our employee experience manager, and that's just one of the paths you can take. I've switched out of engineering, and now I work in sales operations, doing a lot more sales than operations. So really cool background, and happy to talk to you guys.
Thanks, Andrew. And I'm going to have you definitely talk further more about that rotational program, because I think that's something, just put it out there. So Eaton Company is based out of Cleveland, Ohio, which is where I was born and raised. And I'm very familiar with Eaton Company because they have a very nice sized building not too far from where I went to school. But when I tell you that I have a clue as to the companies that they ran and that they had something to do with golf, never. So this is mind-blowing already because as a Cleveland girl, and I'm sure they have satellite offices throughout the country, but as a Cleveland girl, to know that right here, probably 20 minutes from my house, was a company that did stuff in the golf space is pretty remarkable. So good to know about that. We'll definitely talk more. But Rebecca, if you could share with the audience just an overview of Golf Pride as far as the departments that you have and what opportunities that you have for employment.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Golf Pride was founded in 1949 in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was eventually sold to Eaton Corporation in the late 60s, which is how it got to Eaton. But we are a multinational company. So we're based in Pinehurst, North Carolina, but we also have a distribution center in the UK and our plant operations in Thailand and Taiwan. So when it comes to our headquarters in Pinehurst, we call it our Global Innovation Center, or our GIC. This is where our global teams sit, our global divisional leaders sit. And right now we have an HR team, we have operations, we have commercial, and we have innovation, which translates also into engineering. So for right now, we are hiring heavily in our commercial team. Specifically in marketing. So we have an associate brand manager role, a senior associate brand manager role, a senior product manager role for our OEM business, our global sales manager role for our OEM business. But also on the innovation side, we're hiring for our global COE manager. So this leader has an engineering discipline, but also is that trip that go between engineering and operations and bridging that gap for innovation to make sure these great ideas that our innovation teams have can actually be done when we want to manufacture them. So I'll also add that currently we don't have any internship opportunities at the moment. The earliest career level role we'd have is our ABM role, the associate brand manager role, which requires about 2 years of experience. The rest of the roles that we have open right now require more experience. So.
Awesome. This sounds like some great opportunities and some full-time opportunities. A lot of our audience has been asking, is everything entry level? But it sounds like you all are trying to bring in some full-time career-seeking people. So again, this is a great opportunity for those that are watching and that are either considering switching careers or just looking for something else that's more interesting and maybe in the pathway of golf. And so I'm going to switch gears to Andrew, because I know, Andrew, you went and you got into Golf Pride, you said, through the Eaton transitional program. And I know you had a name for it that I'm mistaking, but either way, could you explain what that program looked like for someone who's coming in and how that experience was for you?
Absolutely. So Eaton's, they call it the early talent programs. There's several of them, depending on what you study. I think we have an IT one, a supply chain one, a finance program, the operations program, and an engineering program. So several different opportunities that you can go into straight out of school. I did the operations management one. At the time, I was heavily interested in manufacturing, so I interviewed, and thankfully they liked me enough to extend me an offer. So my first, it's 3 years, and you do 3 years at each location. And the idea of the program is to give you both broadening opportunities as well as depth within each one of those positions that you do. So they're 3 years, 3-year total program, 1 year at each location. So the first year I went to Horseheads, New York, and so this is part of Eaton's electrical sector. We have two sectors. One's electrical, one's industrial. Golf Pride sits in the industrial sector, so I was in a completely different part of the business in the electrical sector, and I was working as an OpEx engineer, so that means operational excellence engineer, and I was working on product improvement right on the factory floor. So I was out there trying to make more efficiency, trying to reduce scrap. Really good opportunity to learn how product is made. From there, I shifted to a supervisor, so I worked as a production supervisor for approximately 18 months. This was during the COVID pandemic, so I got stuck in New York for a couple years. So definitely learned a lot about New York while I was there. It was a fun time. And then lastly, again, with the opportunities that we have, I was able to switch into marketing. So I moved down to another business unit down in Sumter, South Carolina, and I spent a year there. And that's when I found the opportunity at Golf Pride after I was done there. And the nice thing about once you're done with this program, if you do it, there are so many opportunities within the company. I mean, really geographic flexibility as well as career interest. So being a golfer, I happen to be a golfer, and I saw this opportunity with Golf Pride. I thought it was a fantastic opportunity to join the golf world and try that. And it's been really fun. Golf is such a cool industry to work in. Just the way the business functions is very different from anything Eaton does, as it's a completely different product than traditional Eaton. So came into this role, and it's been almost a year and a half now, rolling up on 2 years in this position, and it's just been really fun.
That's pretty cool. So I love the story of you not coming in necessarily the golf space, because of course Eaton is as the parent company of Golf Pride, but that you were able to dabble in different areas. And it seems like you moved up in your status of entry level to a managerial role or supervisor role, and now you're full time in the role you're in now. So that's a good pathway program that they have available that I don't think a lot of companies just don't have for various reasons. They don't have the bandwidth to do that, or the levels to do that with everything that they're doing. And I hear a lot of your both of you have said the word engineering probably at least 10 times already. And I think that's pretty cool, because although I don't have an engineering background, there's a lot of people that have that background. I meet a lot of young people who are in that technical, if you will, background, and they don't see where golf and technical or engineering go hand in hand, right? So I think that's the uniqueness of Golf Pride, because you all are attracting that audience. It's not just about the business, even though you can be an HR manager or accountant, but you have that background as well. So can you share with me, Rebecca, well, just your experience. In fact, I want to hear from both of you, your experience in regards to why you decided to come to or start to work at Golf Pride, in the sense of, or in this case, I know, Andrew, you said you just came to Eaton, but Golf Pride, what is it about this particular department or sector that attracted you and that made you want to be in the role that you're in today? And I'll start with you, Rebecca.
Yeah, for me, similar to Andrew, I spent most of my time with Eaton in our electrical sector in different business units. My last role was a utility sales engineer, but within my time with Eaton, I've also been heavily engaged with our IERG iConnect, which is for Black employees and people of color at Eaton. And I met my current manager through that. And she and I were talking on Teams about stuff, and it just came up like, okay, like, are you open? Like, what's going on with your career? Because we love to talk about career at Eaton. And she said she has a role that would be great for me. That'd be a really good fit for me. And I am a process-minded person. I like creating structure. I like taking things and having a blank canvas and creating something beautiful out of it. And that's essentially what I would have been doing, what I'm doing in this role as employee experience manager. It's a new role for Golf Pride. And I, again, was given a blank canvas to create something and to use my skills around process and structure to create something that this organization has not had before. As far as golf goes, no, I'm not a golfer, but golf, I mean, I've been around it because of the business types of roles I've had. And I love sports. And the fact that Golf Pride is the number one grip, who wouldn't want to work for a market leader? And that's one thing around Eaton, is that we are market leaders in the different industries that we support. And to me, to have the opportunity to be in a consumer product, have a different perspective on how we approach business, and also supporting the people and the talent to get to those goals that we have, why not? I just see it as an opportunity for me to develop as a leader as I continue to grow my career. So
That's really good to hear. I love the idea that they're allowing you to create the space that you're in. You don't hear that a lot from companies like a Golf Pride, because they've been around for so long and they do things a certain way, and so to have them bring you into a space that you can kind of develop on your own and grow. That's something very, very cool to hear. So, Andrew, can you share with me what really enticed you to want to be under a Golf Pride? I know you said you went to the program, but what was like the drawing factor for you to say, this is a role I want?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jamie. So I think looking at Eaton collectively, what attracted me to Eaton is that we're an ethical company. And I think like we stand behind that a lot. I think we've said we do business right. It's over a lot of our literature, a lot of our marketing documents, and it's very true. I think that having an ethical background and believing and say what you do and do what you say is 100% true at Eaton. I think that there's many difficult business decisions that you have to make, and I've never questioned in my whole time here that like I can talk to my manager, I can talk to any leadership, and no one's ever going to say do the wrong thing. It's always like we'll make the hard right over the easy wrong. So I love that about Eaton, and it's been true my entire time that I've worked at the company. And with Golf Pride, I think what attracted to me so much is that right away when I started talking to the team, you can feel the competitiveness. Like we want to win, we want to be the best. So we have our own Eaton values, and we have Golf Pride values, and a couple of them are like play to win, play for impact, play for pace. And we believe that. Like we use it in everything we do. All of our work, it cascades down to that. And so I like having that competitive drive that we use, because like I said, we're the market leaders and we always want to be better. So whether it's in the quality of our products, the time it takes to fulfill orders, our customer service, just our overall business, like we always want to have the best edge. Like we want to be the number one grip provider. So that right away when you come in, you can just feel it. Like, people care about it. Like you can tell, like we care about our golf grips. It's not just a product. It's a really cool team to work on, and you can feel the energy through and through. It's a very inclusive environment where you can definitely be yourself, and that's always been really big for me. Like I never felt like I couldn't be myself with the team. So just really, really good things that I saw right away, and it's been true since I've been there. It's been so much fun.
Wow, that's actually really great to hear. And you touched on you're talking about the culture of the organization, which I think is important for people to hear, because, again, golf has a stigma. If you don't know, it's in general about who is welcome and who can be in it. So when you're talking about the business side of golf and you're talking about, working for a company like Eaton, who isn't just a golf company, it's good to know that their vibe, if you will, is a lot more open and welcoming as a contrast to some of the golf industry, feelings that people have. So I know one of the questions that we have is regards to pay and what that looks like. So I'm going to guess, and Rebecca, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you are under the umbrella of Eaton as opposed to a typical just golf company. I imagine the salary ranges are a little bit different for entry level, or maybe it's, entry level starts at this salary, then you get to the managerial level at this rate. So can you just kind of give us an overview of the breakdown of that?
So it all depends on the role and responsibilities, but also the experience of the candidate. So you'll notice that in all of our job descriptions, we have a range, a salary range for each of our roles. That allows the candidates to view, is this even something I want to consider based off of what's listed? Now, within that, again, we go through that process to validate, again, experiences and considering other things that go into comp. I will also add that all of our employees are on an incentive plan, depending on the level that they're at in the organization, because everyone is having an impact on our performance. So that's what I'll say about salary. It's very dependent on the role. It's dependent on the job responsibilities, but it's also dependent on the candidate's experience.
That makes sense. And along those lines, when you're having staff move to the different areas, because I know you said Golf Pride specifically in Pinehurst, but we had a question about, is there a remote working opportunity with Golf Pride, or do people, if they have to work for Golf Pride, what is the relocation process?
So most of our roles are based in Pinehurst. There's one role currently that has an option to be in Carlsbad, but generally speaking, the roles are based in Pinehurst. So because of that, relocation is offered. Again, the relocation package is dependent on the role, the level of the role. We have a tier structure within this is Eaton corporate structure on how we offer the packages. So for some roles, it's just a lump sum. For others, there's a point system that you're provided through our third-party service that we use. But most of our roles, I think all of them, if you're required to be in Pinehurst, we'll offer relocation as well.
And for those that don't know, Pinehurst in the golf world is like one of the meccas of golf as far as you have some major tournaments there. It's a well-known golf facility. So that leads me to my next question, which is, what are some of the perks that you all are experiencing working for at the Golf Pride location, and obviously are some of them in golf, playing golf included? And I'll start with Andrew just first.
Yeah, so we're very fortunate to work in Pinehurst. We have a building that was finished in 2019, so kind of right before COVID. It's a brand new facility, state of the art. We love having visitors. It's a really fun facility to visit. We have our retail lab, which is it's our commerce. It's our shop that we have, and anybody can come in and you can bring your clubs and get re-gripped right there. So you can come in and you can feel every grip that we offer. You can, have a sample. And what's really cool about this is you can come in and you can actually have our tech, Andy, installs them right in front of you, and you can feel them right off the device. And you can be like, I like this, I don't like this. So it's really cool to see that. And you can see all of our assortment: Tour Velvets, CP2, CPX, Tour Wraps, MCC, Z grips, all of our grips, whichever ones. You can look at all of them. And then with that, there's a hitting bay that you can use like a simulator, and you can actually try out every grip to see which one feels the best. So that's a really, really cool perk that we have that anybody can utilize. Really, that's open to the public if you're ever in town. If not, golfpride.com is your next best spot where you can find all of our grips. And then for us, the employees, I think we have there's a putting studio that's in the office, which is really cool. Probably the only place I've ever seen that. So anybody who comes to visit, we always like to have them play the course. It's 9 holes. You can play it clockwise one way and counterclockwise the other, and that's your 18. And believe it or not, there is break inside of a flat carpet. So I didn't realize it, but there is. So you got to play the slopes inside the office. And then we just have, we work with a lot of partners, and we host, we don't host tournaments, but we contribute a lot to we like to be engaged in the community. So we sponsor golf tournaments. We do one in April that supports hospice. So we get the opportunities to participate in that. And then we also do a lot of volunteering with United Way. So we have the opportunities to participate in that and just benefit the community in many different ways. Again, we love to engage with the local community as well as be a part of it. So those are some of the cool opportunities that we don't get to get. And they do give us like half a day off to go play in the hospice tournament, which is pretty cool.
Nice. So you got some golf mixed in there. And then I love the free grips. I mean, people don't, I think I didn't even realize until after college, and I played in college, how important changing your grips is to the quality of your game. And so the idea that you could just get your grips switched out when needed is kind of cool. I did get an invite, and I will be there hopefully this year before the year ends to check out the facility. So hopefully I can do a behind the scenes tour and share with the audience whenever I make it there. So Rebecca, what are some of the perks that you're enjoying working in the Golf Pride department of EAT?
Well, I'll say that because I'm a newbie to golf, the access to my colleagues who are golfers is helpful. We have a PGA pro on our staff who's basically giving me some lessons. But also say that just in general for employees, we have an employee grip program that, again, employees can change out their grips. And as you can imagine, golf is a part of our culture. So we have a couple tournaments. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had our Junker tournament, scramble. Then we also started earlier this year, our Faywick 4-ball tournament, which Andrew was the winner with his partner last week. As you can imagine, we're very competitive here. So, and finally, we also have access to Pinehurst number 8. We're at the foot of number 8 in Pinehurst. So we are able to play the course, which I think is valuable for the team. I think I think Fridays are probably the days where it's like a ghost town after 12. It's like, are you guys going to play some golf today? So I'll say this, we get work done, but we also want to make sure that we have that time to enjoy each other as well.
Got it. Yeah, I was going to say, you guys are right there at Pinehurst. I hope you get access to the course, at least on somewhat of a regular basis, and take advantage of that. I can remember my first job in golf. I was 14. I was a caddy at a country club, and we got Mondays to play golf for free. But because I had to take the bus and because I walked the course probably every other day of the week, I did not take advantage, and I had sadly regret that I never got to play this well-known golf course in Cleveland because I just, I was a kid. I didn't really realize what I was missing out on. So I'm just giving my advice, Rebecca. Take advantage. I know you're doing it, Andrew. Obviously, you're winning the company tournament, so you know how special it is to be able to play that course. And so outside of that, what would you say? What does Golf Pride do? As far as, and I think you touched on this a little bit, Andrew, about the hospice. What do you guys do as far as the community engagement? Because again, I know your equipment. I've seen it at every store, but how do people see you active in the communities? Whoever wants to take that.
I mean, I can start, and Angie, you can add on to anything I don't mention. But the biggest thing I think to mention right now is First Tee. So one of our leaders, our director of operations, Adam Rowan, is a leader in First Tee. And just this fall, he sets up and helps schedule our employees to go out and help teach. And that's a really big thing for us, is giving back. I'll also share that Golf Pride as well as Eaton is a part of the United Way. And we partner with the United Way in a big way. And one of our leaders is on the board, the local board here. There are other activities, and Andrew, please chime in on employees that just have special things that they enjoy, like hospice, like Relay for Life, that they just drive for us. So it's never just a company thing, it's also employee driven as well. So if there are initiatives that are important to people that we can, wrap our arms around, that's relevant to Golf Pride, we are definitely going to do that.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And so I'm going to have a couple more questions before we wrap up. And I want to and tell the audience if they have any questions, to please put them in the chat. Interviewing, getting into Eaton, or specifically to Golf Pride, what are some do's and don'ts that you've witnessed? Rebecca, I don't know if you hire Andrew on your end, but just some do's and don'ts that you see people doing that you would want to share with the audience.
So I'll just share first the way to apply to a role for Golf Pride. You can go to eaton.com/careers, or you can go to golfpride.com/careers. Probably recommend golfpride.com/careers because it directly just goes to our roles. You don't have to go through all the thousands of roles that are open at Eaton. But I would say, for one, making sure your resume is relevant to the role. I think that because what happens, just, as probably other companies do, there's a software that goes through resumes. And also, if you don't answer questions or our basic requirements questions, then you'll probably get an automatic rejection. So making sure you have the relevant experience, making sure that your resume is relevant. But also, if you do get to that point where you talk to our recruiter, being clear on your why for the role, and also understand and asking questions. I think people miss an opportunity in that you're interviewing for a role, but you're also interviewing to ensure that this is a right opportunity for you too. So if you're not asking questions and you're getting it's just, are you really interested if you don't have questions? I don't know. But just thinking through that. But also, I think those are big things. I think those are really big things. Being prepared with your resume, having relevant experience, and being able to speak to why you're interested in the role and how your experience can help elevate the role. Then also coming prepared with questions about the role. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's the most important thing. It's probably the last part. I don't know, Andrew, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, those are all great points, Becca. I think the other thing too is we stand heavily on our values, both Eaton's and Golf Pride's, and so just any research that you can do to understand what our leadership model is and what our company values are. A lot of our questions are based off those. You do all the STAR questions. Can you tell me about a time blank? So those always pop up in the interviews. And I'd say the thing for interns on the younger side, that we don't look for, we don't expect you to have, accomplished everything, right? You're still in school, you're young. I think the thing we look for is potential. So how have you displayed potential, whether it's leadership in a club, activities in school, sports, something like that shows like you have potential. With that too, it comes, I don't like to use the term, well, we look that you'll be a good mix of the team. Like, you want to be here. You're showing interest in what we're doing. I think that's huge. And your overall attitude, that's going to be a big thing when you interview, and doing it right. Like Becca said, have your interview, your resume, tie it up, make sure it has the relevant words, look at the job description, see that, you're tailoring it right for what we're looking for.
And I'll also add, because you can tailor job description based off, or your resume based off your job description, but if you don't have relevant examples to back that up, that's not a great approach. So just an FYI, just want to clarify that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I learned today from what you just shared, Rebecca, in regards to the process of getting into Eaton or into Golf Pride, is the fact that you have that machine that goes through and filters the resumes. I think people may not know that sometimes when they say, "Oh, I didn't even get a call back as far as an interview," well, if your resume didn't pass that initial test of did you fill out all the answers, did you, do the basics, that you guys don't even see the person's resume necessarily to take them to the next level. So I just want to make sure that point is made clear, because I don't know that existed when I was looking for work back when, but obviously with AI technology and all these things out, and you all are a technology focused company, it doesn't surprise me that you have something like that in place. I'm sure others do the same, but you're the first person to bring it up in our interview. So I just want to make sure people are hearing that point. So we're going to be wrapping up soon, and I just want to have you all just share any type of from your vantage point, why somebody should consider working at Golf Pride, um, as far as for their job in the golf industry. What is it that you feel would make them the best candidate for whatever they want to do at Golf Pride? But just kind of give a summation of how you feel about that. We'll start with you, Andrew.
Yeah, so I think you would you should look at working for Golf Pride if one, like I said, you're passionate. I think you care about what we do. Like Becca said, you don't necessarily have to be a golfer to work in the golf industry at all. You can be anyone. We have several people at the office who don't golf. That's not a requirement by any means. I think if you want to play for pace, play for impact, and put the golfer first, I think that's what we want and what you should want as well if you want to work for Golf Pride. I think, like I said, I always think about the intangibles, our culture, our work ethic, our work values. I think that we really do have some of the best out there. I think that it's a place where you can be yourself. We're inclusion. We're constantly looking to make ourselves better through diversity. There's no cap on it. I think we just want to be the best out there. And so if you want to be a part of that, then you should absolutely come look and work for Golf Pride. Becca listed off several of the perks, but like you said, we work hard and we play hard. So it's not a place where you can come in and not work. Like, you have to have good work ethic and really take care of your stuff. Like, that's what it is. But again, we have a lot of fun while we do it, but we always want to be the best. So I think we do a good job of balancing the two. And so that's why I think you should work for Golf Pride.
All right, Rebecca, go ahead. Share your perspective.
Yeah, I think Andrew hit on a lot of good points. I'd say if you're someone who's a self-starter that is competitive and has a desire for excellence, you would be a great candidate to work for Golf Pride. We are in a transition where we are looking to elevate our brand, especially as we look at 2030, and we need people that can help us do that. And having those areas like what Andrew mentioned and what I just mentioned, I think are key. That entrepreneurial, you may hear if you ever apply and talk to one of our leaders about that entrepreneurial spirit and really taking ownership over the role that you have. Because some of these roles are new, so they're going to be the person in the role is going to be creating it as they go along with our organization. And that takes a different skill set and a different temperament, because not everyone wants to come in and do that. So yeah, I think that entrepreneurial spirit and that competitive edge, I think, is important in excellence.
Yeah, I love the theme throughout what you all have been saying this whole interview, which is that, Golf Pride is the best of the best. They want, people who have, as you said, the word excellence and hardworking, but also they do offer a fun, inclusive, welcoming environment. So, I just want to encourage everybody who's watching this or will be watching this in the future that, if they haven't considered Golf Pride, to definitely do that and know that it's a part of the Eaton Corporation. So you're talking about a bigger organization than just golf. Which also lends some additional opportunities that you may not have, considered. And clearly they're hiring a lot of roles. In fact, Rebecca, I'm going to have you briefly just remind people where to go to do that, just so they have that one last reminder. And then we'll be sending out an email to everyone after this interview with the recording of this interview, as well as the links to the website and any job specifics that Rebecca wants you guys to know in regards to applying for any upcoming roles. But you'll get that only if you're registered through us. And please share these opportunities because they are hiring. So I've gotten questions, are they really, it's just a hiring and a career fair of like, yes, people are on here looking for people to hire today. So definitely send in your resume to me or apply for the jobs directly through their website. So Rebecca, if you give them one more time the information on how to register to apply, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yes, so again, we have quite a few roles open, and you can go to golfpride.com/careers. You can see which roles we have open.
All right. Thank you both, Rebecca and Andrew, for your great insight. Thank you, everyone who joined in on the call and commented or liked it. We're glad that we were able to share this. Again, I ask of you that you share this information with others so that people will know more about what they can do in the golf industry. And we will see you all tomorrow for our next interview at noon with LPGA. So please be here tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good day.